चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. So anytime you face any kind of audio issue, so please inform me so that I'll have idea about what's going on. Otherwise, it's very difficult for me to understand. Okay. So चलिए start करते हैं. So first thing is how you can get this PDF. You can simply scan this QR code to download our application, and in that application you will find a section called infographics and current affair. You will get all the past PDF including today in there, and those who are using iOS device, you can download class plus application and use our code as PKR MAJ to get it. ठीक है, तो चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. So first one is government to offer quick liquidity to exporter hit by the US tariff. So recently you all know that Donald Trump imposed 50% tariff on the India, that include 25% tariff and plus 25% of the penal tariff, just because we are buying oil from the Russia, and because of that so many of our industry, so many of our sector are going to impact. So government is going to provide liquidity in terms of access to the money, short term loan, medium term measure. So that is what they are planning. So union government has come off with a action plan to respond to the tariff escalation by the USA, which includes short term, medium term and long term measure. Aim not only addressing the short term pain point, you know short term pain point, but also increasing long term competitiveness. So this is what the objective that the government is taking to ensure that our all sector of our export are competitive. So government India proactively responding with timely and well calibrated and comprehensive multi tiered strategy designed not only safeguard India's exporter but also strengthen our long-term competitiveness in the international market. So to be a leader or to be exporting, we have to export a lot. So we need to make our exporter competitive. Competitive means low cost at the international market. Let's say is there is two goods. Let's say two goods. One is imported from the India or exported from the India. Another is from the China. So at the end, this good is sold by the consumer, which price is low. So if we can make our product more competitive, so that is what led to the more export of our product. So guiding principles, so providing immediate relief to the exporter with regard to liquidity. Liquidity means access to the capital, running capital, because the industry, they need a lot of money to purchase or pay the salary, so they need liquidity. So next is supply chain. Supply chain is entire value chain from production till end or consumer. So entire thing is it's called supply chain. So it also include raw material, it also include the logistics. So providing immediate relief to the export with liquidity and compliance on order levels. So building resilience in supply chain, leveraging existing trade agreement and providing other financial assistance to the exporter. So it is anticipated that the exporter may face delay payment and stretch receivable cycle and cancelled order due to tariff shock. So there are a lot of problems that are going to be faced. So we are ready to overcome these things. So next is India and China committed to fair resolution of the border issue. So recently our Prime Minister visited the China to participate the SCO summit. So they are both sides, they have agreed to find peaceful solutions to border issue. But as we know that you cannot trust on the China. So time and again, multiple occasions, China shows the readiness to solve, but at the end, backstab. So but at least here, this time, if China is very serious, we need to give this a chance. So if by any chance, if there is a good relation, improve our relationship and peace it brings at the border, so that is what helpful for India as well. So after Prime Minister meet with the Chinese president, MEA ready for reasonable and mutual acceptable solution on border issue. But Xi Jinping said that border issue should not be defined overall relationship. China want to not to settle the border issue, rather move ahead while putting pressure on the border. So China want to have the trade relation so that it can have negotiated value, or it can be later on negotiated in favor of China. So India want, no, we have to ensure for peaceful and good relation, we need to settle the border dispute. So this is what the issue. Okay, and our Prime Minister also said that both countries are victim of terrorism. So even this is also in past, we never recognize that both countries are victim of terrorism. So very first time we recognize, because in China, so many reasons, so they are also impacting terrorism, like Tibetan, Xinjiang, and so many Chinese labor in the Gwadar of region of the Balochistan region of the Pakistan being victim of terrorism. So that is what Prime Minister raised, so that we can get support of China to designate some of the terrorists of Pakistan as a terrorist organization, so that we can choke their funding. So next important article is over 33,000 in Bihar seek re-inclusion on the voter electoral role. So I think you all know. So special intensive revision that is being conducted by the Election Commission of India in Bihar, that is what led to the exclusion of 65 lakh voter. So now there is a window provided to file the appeal. So in that appeal, so 33,000 people are filing the appeals. Okay, so that for their re-inclusion. So Supreme Court and multiple even party, they are opposing, and Supreme Court said that you need to accept the Aadhaar along with the other document that is being listed. So dear student, we are also providing OPSC interview guidance. So in case you are preparing for the OPSC and you are not getting proper direction, you can scan this QR code to join our Telegram channel. So there we are also conducting, there is a good discussion in the evening so that you can participate in it. Okay. Chale, so mini cloud burst are rise. This is what said by the IMD chief. So Indian Meteorological Chief said that the mini cloud burst, that means cloud burst in a very small area, so they are on the rise. So recently I think you can see about multiple cloud bursts are happening, be that Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh and Jammu Kashmir. So there is no increasing trend in the cloud burst over India in recent year. They remain impossible to forecast. However, there has been increasing mini cloud burst. So what is cloud burst? Cloud burst are the instances where too much of rainfall happening in a very short span of time. So that is what called cloud burst. But in recent time we are seeing that increasing instances of the cloud burst because of climate change, all these developments, all these things. But problem is that it is very difficult to predict. Not yet, we are not yet able to predict with 100% accuracy that about the cloud burst. Okay, so next is if you do study about northwest India got 26% more rain than usual for monsoon month. Again, if you look into India, so this northwestern part, like the Himalaya region, so they're getting a lot of rainfall because of wind in all direction. It is 26% more than the normal rainfall they are getting. So that is the reason all the Himalayas region we are seeing so many cloud burst flooding incident is happening. Okay, so next is the extreme active of monsoon in northern India that saw large scale destruction of lives and property in Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir and Uttarakhand due to confluence of several western disturbances. So many western disturbances are cyclone that is being originated in the Mediterranean Sea, so that is being carried out, and here it is Himalaya. So already because of that rainfall and because of monsoon, two branch also causing rainfall. So if whenever this meeting of the three branch causing severe rainfall. Okay, so several western disturbances from that travel to the India from Mediterranean and storm from the Bay of Bengal moving northwestward, leading to several episodes of intense rainfall. So that is what the reason for repeated occurrence of this cloud burst. This is likely to prevail during the September too. Since 1980, we have noticed that increasing trend in rainfall India received during September. Okay. So dear student, here there is a good question regarding disaster management. What are the reason for increasing instances of flooding and flash flood in the India, and how it is going to impact our people? So you can write that answer. So why rising instances of the flood and flash flood, and what are the implication on the people? So please write. Okay. So next important issue, next important news is issue GR on Maratha quota, don't budge even if bullet are fired. This is what said by recently people are demanding a reservation should be given to the Maratha community because they are believing that Maratha are backward, so they should be included under the OBC. So government should declare Maratha as a soft caste of Kunbis, says activist on third days of Stir in Mumbai. So Maratha should benefit from the EWS rather than being categorized within OBC. This is what said by the ministry. So I think you already know that so many part of India, so many influential caste, be that Maratha, Jat, so they are demanding, or Patidars, they are demanding reservation. Why? Because though they are very influential, they are land owning class. So why they are demanding reservation? Because agriculture is currently facing distress, and only hope for them is to getting into the government job, and government job is gradually sinking or reducing. So that is the reason they are believing that by inclusion in the OBC quota, so they are going to get more opportunity. So that is what they are demanding for inclusion in the OBC quota. So next is the Telangana pass a bills to implement 42% quota for the backward class in their local self government. So the Telangana Assembly on Sunday passed a way for implementation of 42% reservation for backward class in elections to the local bodies by passing two bills: Telangana Municipality Third Amendment Bills, Panchayat Raj. So this bill, two bills and ordinance to be same. This is being awaited the president consent. So if you look into that, reservation for scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and backward class, they are collectively 50%. So even if you look into our 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, it is talking about, state government can provide reservation for the backward class if they are not socially and educationally represent. Okay, so that is what important for your examination. So dear student, we are providing the monthly magazine also. So you can get it by scanning this QR code, download our application, from there you will get it. And we are also providing a lot of free test series, so you can also check that by downloading our application. So next is metro. Metro connectivity change the Kolkata commute. So I think this is a very good steps for urban transportation, because in urban area the problem that we all are facing, the urban area problem is that because of traffic jam and people are spending hours. Let's say you are doing official work, so you have to reach your office at 10 a.m. and off time is, let's say, 6 p.m. But to travel to your office it is taking 3 hour and again 3 hour. That means you are wasting 6 hour of your time in the traveling. Just imagine if we can save that 3 6 hour of time, and that time can be saved, used for other productive activities. So what kind of economy again we are going to get? So that is the reason we need to have good quality of urban transportation, that is affordable, that is convenient, and it is also cheap also. So if you, so this is what very important. So recently the government is implemented the Kolkata new phase metro line. So that is what reduce the time, and it is also bringing a lot of convenience to the people. So that is what you need to understand. So you can write a mains question. They can ask about, what are the challenges faced in our urban commutation. So what are the challenges faced in our urban commutation, or the urban traveling infrastructure, or public transportation in urbanization. So what are the challenges faced by our public transportation? And what are the solution? What are the futuristic solution you can suggest? One of the solution is metro rail. Another is, having the more local trains. We can also use bus. We can use all other like, monorail or other infrastructure, so that we can improve our, commutation. We can make people easily travel from one place to another place. Chali. So next important article is the cell structure. So star as a onion. So if you start peeling an onion, you will find a layer by layer in onion. Na? So same thing, if you look into our earth surface also, you'll find our earth is designed in three concentric layer. So first one is core, mantle, and cross. Na? So heavier element you will find on the inner side, and lighter element you will find on the surface. Same thing with our, the all these stars. But a recent finding, they are finding something unique. So no need to go about that. Just remember, at the center of all these planet you will find a heavier element. As you move outside, you will find the lighter element. So this is what our exam good for or helpful for our examination. No need to go in detail, because these are for, those who are doing astrophysics. Therefore they are examples. Okay, चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. So next is data show that sea rising faster around the Maldives and Lakshadweep than believe. So recently there has been research conducted that, rapid rise of sea level found near the Maldives and Lakshadweep. So dear student, you have to map it. You have to use your map to locate this location and Lakshadweep. You have to find, all these locations and a few important location there. So coral micro atolls are disc-shaped colony whose upward growth has been limited by the height of lower tides. As a result, the micro atolls upper surface closely reflect the lowest water levels in the area over time. These coral reefs survive for decades, even century, growing slowly in response to the climate and sea level. So, you have to understand coral reefs are marine animals. You can say the marine ecosystem, or they are called the rainforest of the oceans, because of their significant role in carbon sequestration. They are acting like the food chain. They are this producer of food in the marine food chain. So rising sea are major consequences of the global warming. Yes, with rising, global warming and climate change, sea level are rising. Because, if global warming is happening, then snow, ice melt. So that is the reason more water is adding to the oceans with higher temperature. So water is also buoyant, water height is also increased. So if you put some, take a pot and heat it, you'll find that with temperature the height of the water is going to increase. So that is what called as, floating of water at the higher temperature. So that is the reason sea level is rising. So with many implication of low-lying coastal area, coral reef which are highly sensitive to the environment are particularly vulnerable to fluctuation of sea levels. So when sea level rise, sunlight may or no longer penetrate. So coral reef needed optimum level of light, okay, to produce food. So if sea level is rise and that is what not able to produce this, get light, that is not able to produce the food. Sunlight may no longer penetrate the water to reach the coral reef. That is what reach before lead to the coral bleaching. So dear student, you have to study in detail about the coral reef. So the animals, coral polyps and zooxanthellae, and location of the coral reef found. What are the factor for what are the factors for survival of the coral reef, what are the challenges faced by the coral reef, what are the steps taken by the government to preserve the coral reef. And you also need to be to study about what are the steps taken by the preservation and what are the benefit of the coral reef. If there is a preservation and protection of the coral reef, what kind of benefit we are going to get. So apart from that, no need to go in detail because these are research, from the point of view research, not much important for our examinations. Okay. So you have to find three important points. What is coral reef? So location, where they are found, what are the favorable factor for growth of coral reef? Okay. What are the challenges faced by the coral reef? Why coral bleaching is happening? And what are the ecological benefits or ecosystem service that is being provided by the coral reef to our people? Okay. So next is Ukraine vowed to retaliate after Russia strike power facility affecting 60,000 people. So despite the negotiation is going on between Russia and Ukraine, so each other attacking the facility of the other. So that is what creating concern. So the Russian drone attack on the power facility in northern and southern Ukraine overnight left nearly 60,000 customers without electricity. So to retaliate that attack, Ukraine is also promising to attack deep inside the Russia. So if this attack is going on, keep on going on, so this war is already stretched for 3.5 years. If we are not able to find the solution, it might be turning into a very catastrophic war. So there might be involvement of nuclear weapon also. Okay. So we have to be very careful. So next important article is very important article. So why NRI are choosing India for medical tourism? So if you look into all our NRI, though they are staying in the developed country, advanced country, still in terms of medical care, they are looking after India as a preferred destination. Why? Because they are getting at the treatment at a very affordable cost, yet the quality of treatment is very high. So when people think of medical tourism, they often imagine trade-off between affordability and quality. India has rewritten the question by proving one does not need compromise on either. So that means if you are performing, let's say, for millions of NRI, now the decision to save by the reality of rising healthcare cost abroad. So if you are performing some healthcare in the USA, so cost of that is very high, but same quality of treatment they can get in India at a very fraction of the cost. So that is the reason people are looking for the India. When people think of medical tourism, they often imagine trade-off between affordability and quality. That means they believe that if low cost, low quality, but in India it is low cost yet good quality. So that is the reason more people are looking for India as a preferred destination of their medical tourism. A complex surgery in USA can cost around $1 lakh, but same thing can happen 10 to $20. You can say there has been reduction of 60 to 90% of cost involved in the complex surgery. So that is what the reason for India has emerged as an alternative destination for attracting medical tourism. It is not about only about the tier 1 cities, but now we are seeing even the tier 2, tier 3 cities, they are also attracting a lot of tourism. So the South India, we have already world class hospitals, so they are emerging as a hub of medical tourism. So if you look into the economy size, so India medical tourism market is on track to cross 13 billion, and that growth open a clear opportunity for industry. With the right approach, India can strengthen its place as a global hub where healthcare and financial protection go hand in hand. So we can provide more insurance to our NRI so that in case of their health issue, so they can direct flow come to India for treatment. So if we can develop everything in a single way, like insurance, proper zero cash treatment, so they can directly come to India. So that is what led to the further development of our medical tourism. Okay. So if you look into West countries, so their insurance cost is high, but that can be if we can provide a low cost insurance and high quality treatment in India, so that is what going to be helpful and attract more tourism towards India. So next is C meet with Maiju, so called stronger China Maldives try. So I think we already know that China is trying to maintain very good relationship with neighbor of India to put pressure, and this is what called sting of pearl strategy. This is what's called sting of pearl strategy to encircle India. So on that, Chinese President Xi Jinping met Maldivian president and called for deepening bilateral ties. So they are negotiating a free trade agreement, and Maldives is one of the observer member of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. So dear student, you have to study in detail about the SCO. So how many members are there in SCO, how many members, so what are the objective of the SCO, so what are the outcome of the SCO, so how SCO is benefit for India, so whether SCO is an organization that is anti-West, and how India should overcome how India should overcome its relations with West under the Squad with versus Russia and China in the SCO. So this is what strategic autonomy that we are following. So Maldives is a dialogue partner of 10-member SCO block. So as in SCO, there are 10 countries. So please write in the comment box. Let me see how many of you know that. So the implementation of the China Maldives Free Trade Agreement, both countries should advance cooperation in area of fisheries, marine scientific research, so protection and disaster prevention. So these are the few agreement that is being signed between India, China and Maldives. So dear student, you can scan this QR code to join our lot of initiative we are providing free of cost. So those who are giving the OPSC prelims test series, so you can scan this QR code to download our application. So there you will find the prelims test series very low price, yet you will get high quality test series. So you can start practicing now. So next is Home Ministry form a team to assess damage caused by the rain flood in several states. So I think you already know that. So several northern states, they are reeling under heavy flood and rainfall. So to overcome this problem they are facing, so Home Ministry form a committee so to assess the damage. So Union Home Ministry constituted an interministerial central team to assess the damage in the state affected by unprecedented rainfall, flood, and other disaster over past few days. So, so next is Himachal. So the state that is being affected by Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Punjab, Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. So to assess impact of heavy rainfall, flash flood, and cloudburst and landslide. So if you look into national architecture, so we have already Disaster Management Act 2005. So that is what main governing law for disaster. So under that, National Disaster Management Authority include officials from the Ministry of Expenditure, Agriculture, Farmers. So these are multi-ministerial organization. So if you look into the funding that is being provided, so National Disaster Response Force team and Army personnel helicopter, they are already providing service for rescue rehabilitation. If you look into funding, you will find under there are two kind of funding for the disaster: a National Disaster Response Fund and State Disaster Response Fund. So here, 100% fund is provided by the union government, and in State Disaster Response Fund, so 80% of the fund is provided by the union government, and 20% of fund is provided by the state government. So these two funds are used for the meeting the response. That means after disaster, if anything needed, so they'll have to take care of. And there is another fund is called mitigation fund, disaster disaster mitigation fund, basically long term fund, that is what aim to reduce the impact of disaster. Okay, so dear student, those who want to join our mentorship program, you can scan this QR code to join our mentorship program. Here you will find high quality mentorship yet very low price. So next our prime minister during Man Ki Baat appeal to Indians to follow vocal for the locals mantra. So in his monthly broadcast Man Ki Baat, Prime Minister called for self-reliant India and trade turmoil due to US tariff, and express anguish about disaster caused by the rain. So I think this is what the news. So no need to go in detail, just read overally. So this is what our Prime Minister main is focusing on. People of India need to be purchase Swadeshi good. We need to be very much concerned and promote our local good rather than following Western goods. Okay. So then only we can see development. If you look into China, so China is having their own YouTube, China is having their own Facebook, everything owned by there. But what we are doing, we are subsidizing this other countries product. We are not promoting our own country product. So that is what led to the problem we may face. So next is simplifying the mammoth income tax act in 6 months. So I think recently our parliament passed the income tax act 2025. So if you look into that, so they have simplified the tax, they have reduced the number of sections, they have reduced a lot of complex word with simply word. So it is not that easy, so it will take a lot of hours. So condensed and significantly more user friendly income tax act recently was passed. It replaced the original income tax act 1961, so it is having section 819 and committee. So so that is what they have reduced by putting all the human power together. So bill was laid before the parliament on February 13th, and 6 months after the drafting committee was formed. So it is referred to the parliamentary committee, and parliamentary committee given so many recommendations. So after that, they have reduced the section 819 to 536. Bill also include 57 tables to explain. So it provide lot of more table to explain detailed provision so that it can be easy for the user to understand. So language was greatly simplified. Jargons and archaic words such as notwithstanding, where removed, as far as possible, and examples are provided needed. So that is what main benefit. So if they ask about what are the benefit of new income tax act, so you have to write all this. So parliamentary select committee that was tasked with reviewing the changes took 5 months to submit the report. So they forwarded 1000 so recommendations. So that recommendation are included, and then that is what led to the passage of this act. So one criticism that is being under the income tax act 2025 is that it is giving power to our income tax commissioner and income tax officers, so they can also open your digital account, they can digital social media account, they can unlock that and they can break the password to access that. So you can have access to the social media account under this income tax act, but that is what led to the violation of privacy. That is what led to the violation of the privacy. So that is what the big concern about this act. So next is army hold exercise in Arunachal Pradesh to test the combat readiness. Yes, so we need to test our combat readiness in Arunachal Pradesh in all the border areas, so that in any misadventure by any neighbor or any inimical party, we have to give befitting reply. So recently, I think you already known as ASNI platoon, so designed to integrate advanced technology with traditional combat skills to decisive field advantage. So we are conducting the exercise name. So army has conducted Yudh Kaushal 3, so high altitude Kemang region of Arunachal Pradesh, showing the preparedness for next generation warfare in extreme Himalayan conditions. So we need to prepare our forces to you know fight in an extreme environment, so that any to untowards incident we need to deal very strongly. So next is HAL is likely to deliver Tejas 2 Tejas Mark 1A. So Tejas Mark 1A. So I think already you know that currently the HAL Hindustan Aeronautic Limited is currently design production the Tejas aircraft. So it is delay for its delivery. It is being criticized for delayed delivery. So it is planning to deliver two Tejas Mark 1A. So two Tejas Mark 1 fighter jet are likely to be delivered next month by State-run Hindustan Aeronautic Limited. So government is likely to ink fresh contract for 97 jet after the delivery of the two aircraft. So Tejas is the HAL is going to get huge order for Tejas. So Tejas is going to replace our MiG-21. So MiG-21 is a interceptor that is being basically mainly to operate to intercept any incoming fighter jet outside. It is going to be stay within our India, so to intercept. So a MiG-21 is going to be replaced by Tejas. Tejas Mark 1 जो भी है. So and government is eyeing to procure additional 97 Tejas. So but problem is that the Indian Air Force time and again criticize the HAL for not able to deliver the jet in timely. And why the HAL is not able to deliver this jet? Because of delay in procurement or delay of sending of these engines by the USA. So here we are using FE 404 engine. So that is what's delivered by the USA company. So USA company repeatedly they have delayed the delivery. So the delivery of the jet engine is facing delay primarily due to US defense measure JE Aerospace missing the several deadlines. So that is what led to the delay. So the 38 Tejas are already in service and another 80 odd are being manufactured. So already there are 38 Tejas we have produced and 80 are currently manufacturing under. So we have signed a contract for 83 Tejas in 2021. So see, government is approved an additional batch of Tejas, 97 Tejas with price of 67,000 crores. So that is what boost to our local manufacturing. And what is we need, we need to involve our private sector in the production, because Tejas is not able to sorry, the HAL is not able to deliver the first, so we have to upgrade our manufacturing capability. So we need to involve our private sector, otherwise if any delay, so we'll have to procure aircraft from the foreign country. At the same time, if we are going to involve the private sector, gradually they are also going to invest in the jet engine technology, so which is very critical, and currently India is lacking any jet engine. So that is the reason we are depending on the USA, French and other country in case of any conflict or sanction. So that is going to impact entire our aircraft also. So we need to involve private sector, we need to invest in the jet engine to make ourselves self reliant. So India halt all mails to USA due to lack of clarity. So recently, I think you already know that Donald Trump imposed sanction, led lack of clarity on the mail service, led to the India halt all its mail service to the USA. So next is NGO Educate Gal win Raman Magsaysay Award, which is very important. So there can be a very good question. If not a very good question, you can write role of NGO in promoting welfare of the weaker section of the society. So NGO Educate Gal. So it brought unschooled out of school girl into the classroom, work to keep them until they are able to acquire credential for higher education and employment, say the foundation. So you have to remember three person: Sahina Ali of Maldives and Flaviano Antonio L. So Philippines. So they and this organization NGO Educate Girl, they win the Raman Magsaysay Award. So the Educate Girl, also known as Foundations to Educate Girl globally, the Raman Magsaysay Award Foundation said on Sunday, as Indian organized whose groundbreaking work in addressing gender injustice, educate India, must rural and remote area create ripple effect that uplift family and entire society. It is said that if you educate a woman, you educate a generation. If you educate a man, you educate a man. So being the first woman, being the first Indian non-profit to receive Raman Magsaysay Award, so it's a historic moment for educate girl and country. So if you look into other recipient, you will find the environmentalist Sahina Ali from Maldives received the Raman Magsaysay Award. Then Flaviana Antonio L. Villuve of Philippines, who sought because of its positions for the former Philippine President Duterte for infamous drug war led to the widespread human abuse. So if you study about little bit about Raman Magsaysay Award, so Raman Magsaysay Award was started in 1958 to celebrate greatness of spirit and transformative leadership in Asia. Since 1958, already 300 people have been getting this award. So it's a good recognition at the international level also. So next important article is the inside APK scam, how fake apps are used for financial fraud. So I think what they are doing, just modus operandi. I'm just explaining. Listen very carefully. So first, so this scamter, so they develop some APK application. It look like some file they are downloaded in your mobile application. They'll ask to install it. If you click it, you'll just install that, and after that your mobile control will go to the scamster. So they first collect your data regarding something beneficiary scheme, bank account or investment, and then they'll send you information. For example, your credit card has been blocked, your account has been blocked. To get the subsidy, to get the scholarship, you have to scan. So you just click this and you have installed it. After installing, you have given all the permissions to access the file, and that is what they hacked everything, and they'll receive all the codes, and they will be start laundering all the money. At the end, they will exit from your mobile application. By that time, they'll theft all your money. That is what the modus of operandi they will follow. So APK fraud is one of the fastest growing cybercrime threat in country today. So this scam driven by malicious Android package kit file, so exploit the public trust in digital system using sophisticated technical tools to stay undetected and operational across the state line. So I'm just reading it, listen very carefully. So thousands of Indians, so they are facing money laundering. Their money has been vanished because of this APK. So sometime it is begging, sometime it is begin with a phone call, and calm polite, someone calls from the banking, they're claiming to be a banking agent, claiming to be insurance agent, they're coming to a government agents from the police. So they want to verify something, they'll send a link, and if you download and install mobile application, they'll ask some permission. Once you have given the permission, everything will gone to their control. So now by using internet, so they can control, they can store your information, they can get the OTP also. So already they have all the information, they can log into your bank account, they can withdraw all your money. Okay, so these app looks officials wearing the logo of trusted institution, install without installs without issue. So user grant a few routine permissions like contact, SMS, notifications, not realizing that in that instance their phone had become open vault. That means that their information can be easily stolen and that information can be misused. So what happened after the user installed the app? So in less than 10 minutes, money being disappeared from the bank account, fixed deposit are permanently disclosed, and OTP interceptions. The app, which is now run background monitor, mirror, and mines everything right from the locations to the private message. The user is on our until it is too late. Okay, so this is what happening. So they are also committing a lot of crime from our people. So we need to ensure that we need to be very careful. We should not click any unknown. So whenever you are getting any messages, you should be careful, and before contacting them, be you know uh, careful about that. So if you look into, so majority of that is being originated from India. So majority of this APK file that is being originated in India, 70%, 30 to 40% are foreign origin. Okay, so it can be designed by anyone. So this APK code can be designed by anyone. So that is being already sold uh, uh, in the dark web. So you can purchase it and you can modify it little bit, and then you can send in social media, or you can target particular vulnerable section of the society. For example, if they are education, you can send them, you can collect the data about those who are facing problem of scholarship issue. You can send them as a scholarship. So the moment they scan it, you'll get access to all their information, and the fraudster can do all sort of things. Okay, so that is what the issue. So I've already highlighted it. Please read it, you'll understand it. Okay, so this is a what a sophistication cyber crime that has been going on. So why orcas offer fresh prey to humans? So orcas, I think you know that these are larger uh, species of the dolphin. This is also called as whale killer. So they comes to the human, they don't harm humans. They provide some sort of their food, the prey, to human as a offers. So why they are providing? So in orcas, if you look their behavior, it is their female head who led the orcas. So other orcas follow the female head. So generally any animal, they try to explore their surrounding. They are offering this prey freshly prey to humans to understand how whether humans are safe or not. If they found human are safe, so that is the reason they are doing that. As humans and orcas interact more often, orcas are likely to adapt their behavior to become more friendly and more hostile depending on the female leading the group. The interaction could be pique human curiosity about killer whales and potentially improve conservation effort. Okay, so I think if you look into that, so you'll understand. So the many orcas, which are largest species of dolphin, are often called killer whales, have been found sharing the freshly killed prey with humans. They don't just offer their prey, they wait for human to respond. That means they will wait and see how you are responding. So this is a good thing. So next is the importance of India's federal design. So here it is talking about after abolition of the Article 317 and 35A. So that is what abolish the state of Jammu and Kashmir special provision and make Jammu Kashmir the union territory. So that is and that in the case in the Supreme Court, while Supreme Court upholding the abolition of Article 370 and 35A, it is requested the union government to restore the statehood to the Jammu Kashmir. So in this article is talking about the way the state can be created. State can be created by acquiring let's say any territory of India can later on convert it into a state. Any union territory, UT can convert it into a state, and any state that is being already exist, so that can be further divided, altering boundary to form different state. Now, there are three route for formation of the state. So if you look into the formation of the state, you'll find the Article 3. So Article 3 of Indian Constitution provide for formation of the state. So state can be formed. That for that you need a bill to be introduced in the parliament, and prior recommendation of the president is needed. And same bill we need to give reference to the state that is being divided. And even if the state is given the opinion in time, the opinion is not matter. It is the parliament is the sole authority. Then the bill need to be passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha with simple majority. If both the house pass the bill, then new state is need to be created. Okay, so I'm just reading it out whatever I've told you. So three process enshrined in our Constitution of India for creating state. First one is about the admission, establishment, and formation. Admission, establishment, and formation. So First one is about the admission. So, new state into the territory of India. So, if any region that is not part of our territory, so if that into territory, so an entity should have its own organized political unity. It required the that admission through the acquisition shall be guided by international law. So, Kashmir is integrated to India by instrument of accession by the Raja Hari Singh. So, that is what led to the inclusion of territory of India. So, establishment of a new state, a territory, a union territory can be upgraded to a state. For example, Goa and Sikkim is established by this route. And if there is a big state, we can divide, redesignate, modify the boundary to create new state. For example, you already know that the Chhattisgarh is created from the Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand is created from the Bihar, and recently the Andhra Pradesh is divided into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So that in that way we can also divide. Okay. So however, while union may diminish the area of the state, it cannot make away making it an union territory. This is helpless. देखो, so next is about I have already told you the procedure for making the state. Article 3 of Indian Constitution provide for creation of the states. For that, we need a bill with prior permission of the president that is being introduced in either house of the parliament, and that bill need to be referred to the state legislative assembly. And even if state legislative assembly is given the recommendation in time, we can ignore the notice, or we can listen to that. There is no binding on the parliament, and parliament if pass the bill by simple majority, then new state can be created. Okay. So dear student, you can scan this QR code to join our prelims test series and daily current affair that is we are providing in our application. So that you can improve our preparation. So the unusual pattern in Bihar. So deleted voter list a date of probe. So I think you no need to go in detail because these statistics are not for our relevant. But you should know that something is wrong in that the special intensive revision drive, the hasty way through which we are implementing without proper taking into consideration of the ground reality. That is what led to the all this problem. So comprehensive analysis of Election Commission of India Assembly part wise 65 lakh deletion in the Bihar reveal anomaly. So this the rapid, or you can say unprepared implementation of the special intensive revision drive led to the exclusion of large number of voter. That is what the large cause of concern. Okay. So next is taking a leaf out of the Raipur book. So I think you need to understand in our police. So how our the police system, commissioner system, and normal system is function in a normal rural district. There is two system, the DM and collector and police. So here the DM power is given to the collector, and police is having the responsibility under the DM, so that systematically prevent the abuse of power. If we are giving too much of power to the police, so there is chances of abuse of power. To prevent that, the DM power is given to the collectorate. But in case of the commissionerate system, the DM power is given to the police itself. Police commissioner should be given a person above the rank of SP. So in that case, all the decision the DM that the executive magistrate power is given to the police officer themselves, so that they can ensure faster implementation, or ensure that the law and order can be maintained. So it is the time for all major cities in India to adopt the police commissioner system. So if we are going to implement the police commissioner system, so that we can ensure faster decision making. Now police, for any sort of decision, they have to depend on the collector or a district magistrate. And sometime because of delay in decision from the collector or magistrate, to the lack of police being implemented some of the law and order measures. So that is what creating dual system of government. But police want this DM power should be given to the commissioner of police. So in urban area, crime are increasing very rapidly. Crime in urban area, we need faster decision making. That is the reason urban area are moving towards commissionerate system. If you look into our IPC, CRPC, it is talking about any urban area having population more than 10 lakh or 1 million. So metropolitan area, in that region we can establish commissionerate system. But with a new law, Bharatiya Nyaya Sahita, so any region, any urban area, they can establish commissionerate system, and this commissioner power should be given any person above the rank of SP. Okay. So commissioner also having the DM power, just like the issue gun license, issue against the arrest warrants, all these things are now going to come under the police officer. So Independence Day, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister announced that police commissioner system will be soon implemented in Raipur to address growing challenges of law and order. Yes, so if we are giving every power to the police instead of putting this power into two hands, so that is what led to the faster decision making. So that is the reason in more area we are planning to have commissionerate system. So the the population of Raipur exceed 10 lakhs about 15 years ago. So police commissionerate system is essentially a chain of command and control. It is basic function are to make decision and implement them. So in this system, power of executive magistrate are vested with the police officer of a rank of certain functions. This eliminate gap between the police and magistrate for certain duties that involve shared responsibility, especially those linked to the crime control and maintaining public order. In traditional district, where how the power is distributed, the DM, district collector is having the DM power, but police depends on the district collector for the implementation. So that is what led to the dual control. Whenever dual control, so it is very difficult for implementation. So that is what led to the delay in decision making. But in urban area, they're evolving very fast, so we need to take faster decision making. In that case, so we need to have single unit of power to bring transparency and accountability. So there are two ways by which power of an executive magistrate can be entrusted. So first one is by the CRPC. So under the CRPC, power can be given or the amendment by the state government, because the police is a state subject. So the state government can through the law give this power. So if you look into CRPC, so it is talking about any urban area having population more than 1 million. 1 million or 10 lakhs, so they can be given the DM power or the executive magistrate power to the police. But Bharatiya Nyaya Sahita removed that. So that means any officer of more than rank the SP, we can give the DM power. Okay. So next, most of the state like Odisha, Punjab, which enacted their own statute, use power given under the CRPC to implement police commissionerate system. Since then, there has been resistance from the magistracy. So transfer of power to the police. All police commissioners are not equally strong. So that means though some of the urban area, so we are being implemented, but still there are opposition from the collector or the IS officer for implementation. So if you look into government enacted model police act, so that is what police being a state subject, so union government cannot make any law. So union government make model police act, model police act 2006. So it is being appealed to all the state government to adopt this model police act, so that we can have uniform police system throughout the India. So if you look into with a speedy urbanization and industrialization, crime pattern have changed in recent years. So consultation between the executive magistrate and police official often lead to the delay during urgent situation. For example, let's say in middle of night you want to arrest some criminals, but if the collector is not available at that time, so that is what led to the delay. So which led to the criticism from the public. So draft model police act prepared by the Sarabji committee was meant to bring a uniform law for the police force across the country. It has not been adopted by entirety by different states. So police commissioner system provide more effective policy and has stood test of time. It is no already majority of our urban area we are being implemented the police commissioner system, and we are seeing the results. So we can implement further in other area as well. So giving wings to Indian youth. So if you look into Indian youth, you will find that 65% of our population below the age of 35. So we are on the cusp of reaping the demographic dividend, and our economy is growing fast, one of the fastest growing economy. It is talking about in last 10 years. So our economy was 10th, so in 2014, now it is the fourth largest economy. In few days we are going to be the third largest economy of the world, and in 2038 we are going to be the second largest economy in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity. Okay. So if you look into the quality of employment India being generated, and find while only 2.9 crore job created between 4 and 14, so now in this decade we have created 17 crore of job, and lot of job are we have created in formal sector, that can be seen from the employee provident fund organization data. So to ensure it is not about the growth, it is about the social security. So if you look into by 2015, only 19% of Indian are covered under at least one social protection scheme. By 2025, 64% or including 94 beneficiary are under the social security. That is what recognized by the international labor organization. So you can see that we have increased the number of people under social protection scheme, which is very essential to protect our people from falling into any sort of problem. So future of nation will depends on not only pace of GDP growth but also by quality of job is created. Okay? So security we extend to our workers. So the supply chains include, so our population we have already, I have already discussed that. So recently the Prime Minister announced that the Viksit Bharat Rozgar Yojana, so initially put forth by the Union Budget 24-25. So this is what announced with an outlay of 1 lakh crore. This is the most ambitious program in India's history, expected to create 3.5 crore job in 2 years. So by offering direct financial incentive to both first time employee part A, 15,000 in two installment, employee part B up to 3,000 for new hire per month. So now it is providing incentive for the employer and employee, so that they can hire new workers, they can hire them in a formal way instead of putting them in an informal sector. So equally important is the schemes explicitly push towards formalization and social security. So here, if we are hiring our worker in a formal way, so we'll ensure the social security to them, so which is going to be very helpful. Okay. Okay, so I think just read it, you'll understand. So next important article is about India's economic charm and nectar for the growth. So this article is talking about the positive aspect of our Indian economy. So you need to study it, you'll understand a lot of things. So this article is talking about post liberalization. We have seen India undertaking reform. Even the post COVID-19 we are also implemented a lot of reforms. So that is what led to the India emerge as a fourth largest economy, and our economy is growing very fast. So it is reflecting the rising consumption, a robust investment, and payoff from the steady capital investment. So India emerges as a fourth largest economy at this moment of time. Okay. So so if you look into our the growth of India, it is contributing to the 15% of the world growth. So if India is growing, then world will grow. If India is stopping, then world growth will stop. So recently, even the Standard of Poor's, so they have also upgraded our Indian sovereign credit rating agencies. So why it is important, the sovereign credit rating agency? So if our rating is very high, then India can have access to the loan at very low cost, because we are a capital need country. If we can have access to the more capital at low cost, that is what improve our investment, create quality infrastructure. Okay. So if you look into 24 crore move out of the multidimensional poverty, around 25 crore people we have moved out of the poverty. We are providing clean cooking fuel. So a lot of development are happening last 10 or 15 years, so which is forced to reckon. And if you look into our demand of petroleum, 85% of our petrol we export, and 50% of gas we export from the foreign country. But problem is that India currently operates 5.2 million barrels of refining capability, and that's transform into 400 million tons of refinery per year. You can imagine what kind of size of our oil need that we are making. Okay. So we are the third largest consumer in terms of petrol and fourth largest consumer in terms of liquid gas, LPG. So dear student, we have to remember all this fact, figure, data, so because they are very important for your examination. So whenever you are arguing something, so you have to use this data. So India's energy demand, which is projected to be double by 2047, will account nearly quarter of 25% of increasing demand all over. Okay. So we have already improved our exploration of our domestic oil basins. So like we are exploring deep sea basins. We are also exploring new basins. We are finding the oil storage. So we are also exploring, so that we can reduce our demands on the foreign country. So a story of transit energy transition. So we have already started the blending of ethanol in our petrol by 20%. By that we have saved 1.25 lakh crore of our foreign exchange. Out of that 1 lakh we have payment directly to the farmer. That is what help in improving income of the farmer. Already we have established 300 compressed biogas plant under Satat scheme. So 5% blending mandate targeted by 2028. The so we also going to add the biogas from in the gas also. So if you look into the oil purchases, already USA imposed sanction against uh, Venezuela, Iran, and ask everyone don't purchase oil from this country. So we have obeyed that. But USA never ever imposed sanction against the Russia. Rather, it is imposed low cost price for the Russian oil. So that is what led to the India purchase oil, and now 40% of our oil need we are meeting from import from the Russia. But problem is that USA now impose penal sanctions because of this war. But when USA, they themselves involved in the lot of trade in the oils also. So that is what double standardness that they are following. Okay. Yes. So this you can see about by 2037, India is expected to be the second largest economy in terms of PPP. So that is what we can see. So India's response to the as you know that whenever there is any crisis, we always emerge as a victory. For example, during food crisis that led to the green revolution. So that is what we need to have the spirit to overcome all these challenges. So next is renew focus. So India, Japan, so that their ties are stable and amid global churn. So in first leg of their tour, East Prime Minister Narendra Modi traveled to the Japan for 2-day visit, 15th annual summit with Japanese Prime Minister. So they have moved to the and after that traveled to the SEO summit. So Japanese business have raised the investment target to 68 billion. So they have planned to invest 68 billion in next 10 years. So apart from that, we have issued a joint vision statement including 8 area of cooperation, that is economic security, mobility, green technology and transition. So India Japan updated 2008 partnership including NSA level dialogue. So more engagement, Quad, Indo-Pacific cooperation. So interest is of economic security partnership goal to build a resilient supply chain. So because we cannot rely on China, because China is flexing its muscle, so it is using its raw material as a way of putting pressure on India to build a resilient supply chain, secure critical Japan technology to help manufacturing process and semiconductor in India. So India want to be a hub of semiconductor, and Japan already have the technology, so that can help India to establish. So Indian company faced Chinese restriction on export of rare earth magnets. Japan collaboration with India, high speed rail can be important also. So joint statement also, we have condemned the North Korea testing the missile nuclear weapon, and also we have condemned the terror attack. So that is what commitment of Japan to support any action against the terror group. So next is Quad summit. We have shown that we have to work together. Japan too concerned about situation in the East China Sea and tense over the trade with the USA, which led to the cancelled trade negotiation team to visit the Washington. The message that Modi and the Japanese Prime Minister that amid global turmoil caused by the global power, Indo-Japan relationship remains stable and continue to grow. So Japan is our time-tested friend and reliable friend. So we are maintaining very good relationship because it's a defining relationship for the 21st century. So next important article is recurrent irritant. So delay in disbursement of fund and salary can derail the research project. So despite the government is committing that it's very serious about the science and technology, despite 75 women selected for Department of Biotechnology Biocare program have they have not received sanction letter nor salary for their program. So that is what cause of concern. So it is not only about the talking and implementing. We need to also act at the ground level. So that is what lacking. Okay. So this is what the article. So you just need to read it. So, dear student, this is about all the Hindu newspaper analysis of 1st of September. So, dear student, so we'll have to end here. If you like this video, please like, subscribe to our channel. Please do share this video with your friend so that more number of students can benefit from it. Chaliye, bye bye. Take care. Have a good day. Bye.